Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be giving many injury updates surrounding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into their Week 12 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts about all of these injury updates. We're talking about Scotty Miller, Vita, Ali Marpet, Carlton Davis, Antonio Brown, and a couple more players as well down in the comment section below. I would love to read your guys' thoughts and opinions, but let's talk about the most concrete update that we can give right here, which is this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have activated wide receiver Scotty Miller off the injured reserve. He is now going to officially be back a part of the active roster. He will be playing in the Buccaneers Week 12 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. I know a lot of people have missed Scotty Miller for a long time now since he did sustain his turf toe injury early on in the season. I believe the Buccaneers offense has missed him as well, as Scotty Miller has always been a great deep threat, especially on those really high chemistry type of plays with Tom Brady, where Scotty Miller just runs his way down the field, Tom Brady chucks it up, and it seems like every single time Scotty Miller is able to come down with the football. So he will be back. That is going to be awesome, considering that Antonio Brown is still dealing with his injuries. Again, we will have some updates about that in a moment. Great news for the overall depth. Again, I imagine Scotty Miller will slot right into that third wide receiver role, playing some inside and some outside as well. I imagine mostly outside to give Chris Godwin more snaps inside, but great news. Welcome back, Scotty Miller. But the next thing that we're going to be talking about here is a lot of updates regarding, again, Ali Marpet, Vita, Carlton Davis, and Antonio Brown. And the first thing I'm going to bring up here is going to be a quote that Bruce Arians gave yesterday. This is being recorded the day before Thanksgiving, November 24th. This was a quote that Bruce Arians gave on the status of guard Ali Marpet, who did sustain a leg injury versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Monday Night Football matchup, New York Giants, as well as some other updates regarding Vita, Carlton Davis, and Antonio Brown, and when they will be available to play. But let me go ahead and start off the quote here. As far as Ali, it's an oblique injury, so we'll have to wait and see how sore he is Wednesday and Thursday and what he can do. Probably won't be until the end of the week before we know. That is regarding Ali Marpet's availability for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 12 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. Vita should be ready to go. He was real close. With not having any practice this week, I really didn't want to put him out there. Guys stepped up. Stevie McClendon stepped up. And that is very accurate. For those of you who remember, Steve McClendon did have an interception of all things versus the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, and I feel he also did a very good job of applying pressure on Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. So yes, while Steve McClendon did step up in the absence of Vita, it's always a great thing to get a player of the caliber of the big man Vita back into the mix on the defensive side of the football. Carlton will have to wait and see. Hopefully we can activate him when we start practicing this week. AB, he's making progress. Again, we'll wait and see Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday will pretty much be a walkthrough, but we'll see Thursday for sure. So, in regards to that quote from Bruce Arians as of yesterday, right, what can we gain from this? Well, in the case of Ali Marpet, he is going to be questionable going into the Buccaneers matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. I think that is pretty much set in stone. We're not going to have an answer on this until probably Friday, when the last, really one of the last concrete injury reports comes up. In the case of Vita, he's 100% ready to go. Him and Scotty Miller will both officially be back in the Buccaneers matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. This is great news considering Vita is one of the best, if not possibly the best run defender, nose tackle in the entire NFL. The Indianapolis Colts have one of the best rushing offenses, if not the best rushing offense in the entire NFL. So it's going to be very helpful, right, to see Vita apply his run defense abilities against what is, again, a very solid running attack that the Indianapolis Colts have. Again, in the case of Carlton Davis and Antonio Brown, we will probably know more on Friday. I would probably have him listed as questionable. In the case of Carlton Davis, it seems like he probably will not be able to play in the Buccaneers matchup versus the Colts, but he could be back versus the Atlanta Falcons. I'll talk about a quote Bruce Arians gave about that pretty much right now. Let's go ahead and turn to some quotes that Bruce Arians gave today, November 24th. First, we are going to be talking about Carlton Davis on if Carlton Davis could return for Week 13 in Atlanta. Yeah, we've got to see how it goes. If he hasn't re-injured himself, he's got to go full speed. He'll get a bunch of scout team work this week and try to get acclimated and see where it goes. And then going back to Vita Vea, Bruce Arians was asked on if he is still optimistic about Vita Vea returning to action. Bruce Arians said, yeah, he jumped out there today. Again, we'll know a whole lot more tomorrow when I see them work around playing blocks with pads on. That's one of the reasons we're putting pads on tomorrow. Great running team that we're playing against, and just see our guys fit the run. So, again, seems like Bruce Arians is saying, hey, Vita Vea is ready to go. In the case of Carlton Davis, not going to play this week, but he definitely has a shot to play next week versus the Atlanta Falcons. I also want to say this is per Adam Schefter of ESPN. He said this on Twitter, that there is a real chance that Antonio Brown will possibly play here versus the Colts. So it's not, he's just questionable just to provide game strategy or just to say he's questionable. No, nothing along those lines. There is a legitimate chance that Antonio Brown will play here versus the Indianapolis Colts. So what can we gather from all these quotes from Bruce Arians and all the information that is floating around out there? Well, first things first, Scotty Miller, he's back. He's going to play versus the Indianapolis Colts. That is pretty much set in stone. Seems like Vita Vea will be back for the Bucs as well versus the Colts. Again, this is awesome news both on the offensive and defensive sides of the football. Scotty Miller, I think he's going to be playing a lot of outside wide receiver as a great deep threat for Tom Brady. Vita Vea, we all know what he can do, and he is going to be needed against a really good Colts offensive line and a really, really good Colts rushing attack with Jonathan Taylor. Like, my gosh, Jonathan Taylor is so stinking good. So, again, seems like Scotty Miller will be good to go. Seems like Vita Vea will be good to go as well. In the case of Ali Marpet, we're going to have to wait until the end of the week to see if he's going to be ready to go. If Ali Marpet cannot go, I imagine Aaron Stinnie will step up in his place, much like what he did in Monday Night Football versus the Giants, which I thought Aaron Stinnie did a really, really good job. I feel like Aaron Stinnie is potentially going to be the future successor to Alex Kappa, so there really wouldn't be many worries in my mind if Aaron Stinnie had to start in the place of Ali Marpet, but it would be nice to have Ali Marpet out there. He is the best offensive lineman that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have, right up there with, like Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen, so it'd be great to have him out there. In the case of Carlton Davis, he won't be playing versus the Colts, but there is a very legitimate possibility that he will play against the Atlanta Falcons. He did just get his 21-day period to return to practice, so he is getting some light work in with the scouting team. Like Bruce Arians said, we will see what his availability will be next week versus Atlanta. And then in the case of Antonio Brown, again, it's going to have to be a wait and see until probably Friday. Same case as Ali Marpet, where he is going to be listed as questionable. At this point, I would say Antonio Brown and Ali Marpet, it's probably 50-50. Something along those lines of, a 50-50 chance of getting both those guys out there to be able to play. And if they are able to play, that's huge, right? That's absolutely huge for this Buccaneers offense, both along the offensive line and in the receiving core as well. Getting Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown all back together is going to be a problem for any team. I don't care how white hot they are, like the Indianapolis Colts. That would do some damage. But yeah, guys, that's kind of it for all of the injury updates right now. What do you think about everything regarding, Carlton Davis, Vita Vea, Ali Marpet, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, and all the other players that we talked about in this video today. Go ahead and give me your thoughts about this down in the comments section below. Sorry if I still sound congested. I am still sick, but I am getting better. Thank you for everybody who has offered support on that. But anyway, guys, again, leave me your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.